When Jesus wanted the water to hold him up so that he could walk on top of it to get out to the boat where his disciples were, that's what ended up happening. When Jesus was at a wedding and they ran out of wine, and Jesus wanted jars of water to suddenly turn themselves into jars of really, really good wine, that's what ended up happening. When Jesus was at a funeral and he wanted the person who was dead to suddenly be alive, that's what ended up happening. Wherever Jesus was, what happened was what Jesus wanted to have happen. Jesus was in complete control in every situation in which he ever lived. Even when he was surrounded by enemies, by people who wanted to do bad things to him, Jesus was always in complete control. What ended up happening was only what Jesus wanted to have happen. Like there was a time when a group of people wanted to throw Jesus off of a cliff. They wanted to kill him. Jesus was at the edge of the cliff, and the group comes and they surround him. But what ended up happening? Jesus ends up walking right through the crowd. None of them laid a hand on him. None of them tried to stop him from getting away, even though none of them came to that cliff with the intention that they were going to let that happen. It wasn't the right time to die yet. When Jesus was arrested, the soldiers came, and Jesus asked, "Who are you looking for?" And they said, "Well, Jesus of Nazareth." And then they all fell down, all at the same time. Why did that happen? Because Jesus apparently wanted that to happen. He wanted to show them in kind of a funny, subtle way that he was still in control of every situation. They get up on their feet. Jesus asks them again, "Who are you looking for?" And they say, "Jesus of Nazareth." And they all fall down. They all fall down again because that's what Jesus wanted to have happen. Later that night, when Peter takes out his sword and cuts off the ear of a guy named Malchus, Jesus wanted the ear to be reattached to the guy's head as if it had never been cut off in the first place. And that's what ended up happening. Wherever Jesus was, wherever Jesus lived, wherever Jesus dwelled, what ended up happening was only what Jesus wanted to have happen. Jesus was in complete control always. I'm telling you this because I'm relating it to a passage in Galatians chapter 2, where it tells us where Jesus dwells. It says Jesus lives inside of you. He lives inside of you. That's where Jesus lives. That's where Jesus dwells. And so keep that in mind when I read this verse from Psalm 27. In the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. He's not talking about heaven. He's not talking about eternity. He's talking about our days of trouble here on earth. In the day of trouble, he will keep me safe in his dwelling. Jesus dwells in you. And whatever he does, whatever he allows, you know one thing about it. Because of the day Jesus did die. That didn't happen because he was too weak. It didn't happen because his enemies tricked him. It didn't happen because he forgot how to defend himself. It happened because Jesus wanted you to be one of God's children. He wanted you in the family of God. And so he let them hit him and pound nails into him and hang him on a tree so that he could die, so that he could complete the sacrifice that leaves you forgiven of every sin and places you in the wonderful, capable, loving hands of a God who can do anything and who chooses to love you more than anything. Rest well tonight, my friends.